and welcome here to Talk FCB, and welcome back to the channel here today, guys. Now, admittedly, this is not the kind of video that I wanted to make today. These are not the kind of feelings and emotions that we all wanted to be experiencing. You know, I was hoping to come into today celebrating with absolutely everybody here reaching a Champions League final, and it really does hurt me to the core that we're not celebrating that today, that we're not speaking about this incredible team, which it is, achieving something truly, truly special. We just missed out. It's painful, and it really, really does sting, and it will for some time. But as always here on the channel, what we are going to be doing today is looking at what happened, looking at why it happened, looking at the problems that we had during the game against Inter. There were problems there, there's no denying, there's no hiding from that. But what we also have to do today is look forward, is look beyond this game, even beyond this season, of course. There's lots to come from this team, there's lots of excitement still to be had, and of course on Sunday, guys, and I know it's hard to even think about the next game right now, but we play Real Madrid. We've got a Clásico on Sunday that could go a long way to deciding if we can wrap up this league. So believe me, we have to find a way to move on, but before we do that, before we talk about that, let's start with what happened last night. Because indeed, guys, I think the game itself, you know, certainly there for the neutral fan. I mean, I've got no idea about this, of course. I've got no idea other than sadness looking at last night's game. But I would assume for the neutral, it was incredible. It was probably one of the greatest Champions League games people had ever seen there. Two teams just going at each other. Very refreshing, extremely attack-minded, of course, from Barça in particular, and it was an absolutely extraordinary game. And for that reason, I think we can be very, very proud of the team. I think what they have done this season, what they've achieved in going this far as well, and let's face it, even before last night, I think we were all nervous for a reason. Even in the pre-match videos there, I spoke a lot about belief. I spoke a lot about my heart believing that Barca could win this game. But I think realistically, all of our heads were saying, this is going to be tough. This is going to be a really big challenge because of the injuries that we had. Now, if you put Alejandro Balde and Jules Koundé in that team last night, in my opinion, we reached the Champions League final. You know, that's how thin the margins are here. It's so difficult at the business end of the season, in the biggest of games, to lose your key players. It's sheer bad luck. And, you know, in the Champions League, throughout the course of a season, not every time does the best team win it. Now, in my opinion, we have played the best football this season. We are the best team in the world. That's maybe me being biased or naive, I don't know. But in my opinion, we have been the best team. We will not, though, be the champions of Europe. And that hurts, and that really, really does. But that's why it doesn't take away from the pride. The comeback was absolutely sensational yesterday. Just when you thought the Barca were out of it, just when you thought no way could they do this again, they did. The comeback was absolutely incredible, and also the emotion at the end. You know, you look at the reaction there of every single player there. There was tears, and I don't mind seeing that. I want to see here that players care. It wasn't tears in the dressing room at halftime. It was tears after the game, after they had given absolutely everything. They were crying, a lot of them, because they left it all out there, because they were so close, because they were on the verge of something special, and they just missed out. And that is why this defeat right here, guys, it is different. You know, obviously it still hurts the same way, it still feels the same way, being knocked out of the Champions League. It's always going to be painful, but it's a different kind of pain. It's a different kind of hurt here. We feel so bad because we were right there. We feel so bad because we competed until the very end, but we just fell short. But okay, guys, can we actually just talk for a moment here about some of the refereeing decisions in last night's game? Now, just like with Hansi Flick, I am also not going to make excuses here about the referees. Flick said that after the game, but Flick did say a lot of the 50-50s in this match, they did happen to go the way of Inter. We can feel, I believe, quite hard done by when it comes to the refereeing in this game. Because let's just start here by saying the penalty that was given against Pau Cubarsí. Now, what I'm looking for here from the VAR, from the referees, is consistency. That's what I'm looking for, because they decide that challenge right there, which, let's face it, in real time, nobody thought that was a pen. The commentators, certainly on my end here, they're all saying that is a wonderful tackle from Cubarsí. It's last ditch, he's coming, he's won the ball, he gets the ball there, clear direction on it. It's a great last ditch challenge. However, what happens then is that, as in football now, as is the modern way, we go to VAR. We go and have a look at all the angles, all the different screens there, all the different moments, and what do? they slow it down. Now, we don't play football here in slow motion, but let's look at it like that, shall we? Let's analyse every single decision in slow motion. Why would you not? And what they do is they slow it down so that, sure, in the end, you've got to give a penalty. At the end of the day, if you slow it down that much, if you show it from all the angles, you've got to say, oh yeah, in the end, he takes out Lautaro Martinez, who is very, very clever. He leaves his leg in the position there to be taken away. Very clever, very experienced play. That's what we saw a lot, by the way, from Inter. That experience and that nuance, really, in these kinds of moments, and the penalty is given. Okay, fine. If you want to give that as a penalty, then go ahead and do it. But again, what we're looking for here is consistency. So can you now explain to me why the challenge on Yamal, which, sure, it starts outside of the box. And when you go to VAR, when you look at all the clever angles, you can see, yeah, the challenge starts outside the box. But why are we not slowing this down? Why are we not watching every detail here of this challenge as we move into the box? The contact continues. That is the important thing here. It doesn't matter if it starts outside of the box. If the contact is still going, if the contact happens again in the box, which it clearly does, how are they not seeing that? It's a penalty. And this is what I mean about consistency. You slow the one down, you look at every possibility there, you look at every reason to give it, but then down the other end, for the opposite team, why were we not afforded that same luxury? Why did we not slow this down and look at it and see clearly the contact continues inside of the area? That is a clear penalty. It was given on the field by the ref, and that decision should have stood. Absolutely no doubt about that. So again, we can already feel hard done by. And then, of course, on Inter's goal that in the end takes the game to extra time, the goal that really did hurt us, that was the one that really, really did sting. Is there a foul on Gerard Martin? Now, in my opinion, there's actually two fouls, because there's actually contact here from Dumfries, who just somehow makes his way, always this guy, I mean, even when we played Inter before, this guy is always at the heart of controversial moments that always seem to go in Inter's favour. This was the same man, don't forget, that basically punched the ball out of his own box, and that wasn't given as a penalty either. VAR also conveniently missed that one. But right here, there's definite contact on Gerard Martin. Once, twice, he goes down. No free kick given. And it's a horrendous goal to concede in the end from Barça. We are going to be talking about Araujo in just a minute's time. However, before then, let's talk about defending. Because here's the thing, guys. When Barça take the lead, and it was incredible, like I say, the comeback was absolutely immense from Barça. And of course it had to be Raphinha who put us ahead in this game. And he was crying because he knew he gave everything in this Champions League campaign. He couldn't have given any more, and he thought that he'd done enough. He thought that he'd scored the goal to take us to the Champions League final. Barça lead with just minutes to go in the game. Now, my question, and I think the question that we all have is, could we have done more after that moment? Could we have defended better, more intently there? Maybe a bit deeper in the final moments of the game. Because look, we all know that Hansi Flick, he's going to live and he's going to die by his philosophy. And we all admire that about him. We've seen it work very, very well all season. And let's be honest, that's why we're here. That's why we've made it so far in all the competitions. Flick has been the mastermind behind that. It's about the style. It's about the mentality that he's brought this team. It was the only reason in this game why we were able to make a comeback, because of that style, because of that essence there on the squad. However, though, it doesn't change here that in the biggest of moments here, especially when we're talking about a knockout cup competition, you're talking about a Champions League semi-final, you're minutes away from reaching the final. Is there a case to say you can be more streetwise? Is there a case to say in those minutes, and it was just seconds away, could we have said, okay, let's sit back a little bit. Let's actually ride this one out. Let's all stick together. Let's be compact. Let's be hard to break down. Don't let anything go in behind you. Shut the game down. We're minutes away from the final. Just dig in now. Get over the line however you can. But no, that's not what we did, and that's not what we see from Barca here. They're still pressing incredibly high. They're still going, actually, for another goal. And Yamal nearly gets it. So on the one hand there, we nearly do score. We nearly do put the game out of sight in the typical Flick Barca way. And that would have been incredible. But then, of course, we lose it. And then Inter on the attack. And then, guys, when Acerbi equalises there in stoppage time, we've got 3 players in our box. we have 3 Barca defenders there in our own area in stoppage time when you're seconds away from the final. That's all that you can muster up. That's all that you can manage. That we should be putting our lives on the line. We should be getting back there in numbers. Every player there piling in front of shots. But there's no defending. And that is ultimately why at the end of this year, guys, we have conceded 7 goals against Inter over the course of the 2 legs. Now, you could also say, yeah, Inter, they conceded 6 and they still made it through. But in the end, I don't think you can concede 7 goals in a Champions League semi-final and then say, okay, we can reach the final. That is such a tall ask. That puts so much pressure on your forwards. And we actually saw this before. We saw it in the Copa del Rey. When we were up against Atletico Madrid, we came back in that game, remember? We went 2-0 down, we came back to 4-2, and we were still pressing like crazy. We were defending ridiculously high up the field. And again, Atleti then, they came back. They had a doorway. They had leeway here to get back in the game, and we let them do that. And I just thought, in that kind of moment there, in the Copa del Rey, in a knockout game, that was a lesson. We could have used that there. We maybe could have saw that as a reason why, okay, in the biggest of moments, when it really comes down to it, is there a little bit of a plan B? You know, I'm not asking here to play a completely different style. I'm not asking here to take away the fundamentals. I'm just literally saying, when the stakes are this high, when you are so close there, surely there was a thinking of, let's just defend this now. Because could you imagine if Inter had scored with a few minutes to go? Could you imagine there what their approach, their setup would have been? We wouldn't have been able to come back. They would not have allowed us there to score in the final seconds if they had the lead with minutes to go. I mean, we saw it in extra time. Once they scored, in my opinion, I did not see Barca getting ahead, getting level in this game again. They shut it down. They made it so difficult. And I just think here, again, it's a young team. It's Flick in his first season. There's still so much to come from these players, so much here. There's so much room for growth too. And we can learn from this. We have to take on these important lessons. We are still learning as a team. We are still learning as a group. And that, for me, is a big one. The game was in our hands. We had the game won. We just did not see it out. But indeed, guys, speaking of that goal from Inter, Acerbi, the 37-year-old, if I have to hear that one more time, 37-year-old centre-back. Well, how does he even get up there? I mean, why is he even allowed to make his way into the penalty area? And once he does, he's not a centre-forward. He's not a tricky striker. He's not a lightning-quick player. How does he get to the ball first? How do you, as a top centre-back that Ronald Araujo should be, you don't let him beat you to the ball. You do not allow him to get that shot away. It is a joke, guys. And I don't want to pinpoint here an individual. It's not all Araujo's fault. You know, we conceded so many goals. We were very open. We made mistakes over the 2 legs. It's not about one player. But I think Araujo here is going to be disappointed with himself, or he should be here, for the performance, and again, in a knockout match in the Champions League, when it really does matter. He's made a key mistake. He's made a really key error. And I think right here, guys, we're going to have to hear rumours about his future. We are going to have to ask some serious questions here about Araujo at Barca, because quite clearly, Flick doesn't trust the guy. You know, there's a reason why he was nowhere near the starting lineup in this game. We had injuries. We had problems there in our defensive line, and still, Araujo does not get in this team. Flick does not trust him in his style. He does not trust him there as part of his centre-back pairing, and that is why Araujo, real rumours will appear about his future. Now, the question again that I would ask, and it's easy to ask these questions in hindsight, I agree, could we have brought on Andreas Christensen? Now, before the game, I was making a case for him actually to start out there. I think Christensen, in this kind of game, he's such a calming figure. He is somebody there who will not lose his head. He will not there actually do something very irrational when the stakes are very high. He'll keep himself calm. He'll keep those around him calm. He's a really solid, neat and tidy player. Could we have used him instead there? Would that have been a safer move, a safer bet there from Hansi Flick? In my opinion, that was one of the only mistakes that we made. Christensen could have easily come on. Maybe we don't know. Things could have been different. But I was really disappointed there in Araujo. I was really disappointed there by the mistakes that he made, the openness that we played with. That was disappointing too. And ultimately, that all combined led to us heading out. But... and it is a very big but here, guys. Not in a funny way. I mean, there's nothing funny about things happening right now. But, yeah, we have to bounce back. At the end of the day, we cannot just sit here moping around. And boy, I want to. You know, right now, the emotions, the feelings, I just feel like putting my head in my hands and just crying. You know, several moments today I've thought, you know what? It's terrible. It's a disaster. But... we can't actually do that. We have a massive game, and this cannot be understated. The game Sunday against Real Madrid, we've got to win the league now. You know, we cannot certainly give up the Champions League and the league all in 1 week. I mean, that would actually send some of us over the edge. We do not want to do that. Which is why we have to bounce back. I'm sure right now the players are feeling very low, very hurt, very disappointed. They expected more, they wanted more. They could have easily got more. It nearly happened. But it didn't. And at the end of the day now, you've got to wake up. You have to understand that, yeah, we've lost the Champions League. We felt as though we deserved to go deeper. We felt as though we maybe deserved to win it this season. Well, think about the league then. We have been comfortably, and I mean comfortably, the best team in La Liga this season. Could you imagine if we lost that? Could you imagine if we didn't end up winning the league title? We have to win that. We simply must. And that's why we can't sit around crying. We cannot sit around here feeling sorry for ourselves because football doesn't stop. Real Madrid won't stop. You know, their highlight of their season right now would be ruining our season. You know, they haven't been in the Champions League. They didn't even have that hope about them. All they've been thinking of, how can we hurt Barça? How can we actually hurt them more than what they've suffered this week? That is all they live for. Don't give them that chance. Don't give them that opportunity. Do not give them that satisfaction. We have to wake up. We have to somehow bring this team back to life, back to its feet. Even just for this game. Just wake up and be ready for this one game on Sunday where if we win, we've nearly done it. We have nearly achieved the league title and the cup and the Super Cup, and that is still a season to be very, very proud of. These players deserve this title. They deserve this moment. Do not let it slip away. Do not let the hurt and the feelings and the emotions seep into us right now. We've got to bounce back, and the perfect way to do it is against Real Madrid on Sunday, guys. So please let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Right now, I want to hear from you. I want to hear the honest emotion. I want to hear your takeaways from last night. What went wrong? You know, where would you look in this team right now? What phase of play would you look at? Where did it all go wrong for Barça? And what do we need to do ahead of Sunday's Clásico? I will see all of you very soon indeed. Thank you to all of you tuned in today. I really appreciate that. Even in tough moments, even in dark moments, you're all here. And I cannot thank you enough for that. I'll catch you all soon. Make no mistake. But until next time, as always, Vejka, Real Barça.